lots and lots of these thin little wires, and you can see deep down into the structure of them. So it would be a really, really complicated, heavy, expensive model to build.
We must bow to their wishes. You must contact me.
Amongst all these, all the other things going on, one of the key elements is you gotta always keep the bad guys in the picture, whether the Neimoidians are actually there, or whether you're hearing from Sol Bibble that they're killing all the people, but you gotta keep that thread alive. And not only do I have the bad guy Neimoidian Trade Federation threat taking over the planet, but then I've got this larger picture of Darth Sidious, who I felt compelled to actually introduce to the flesh in this picture, and Darth Maul, who is ultimately the main antagonist in the movie. This, and where all the climactic scenes come out of.
You will then have no difficulty in taking the Queen to Naboo to sign the treaty. At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last.
It doesn't have to be the aggressor. He doesn't have to show his aggression to be the bad guy. Nothing scares him.
All slaves are transferred, placed inside the body somewhere.
I've been working on a scanner trying to locate
Any attempt to escape.
and it blow you up. Boom!
In this sequence here, we used a lot of what Ahmed had come up with on the day. All the gags of when he was drinking and when he was reacting to the characters. He'd come up with this great sound effect and when he was doing the slurping up of the fruit, which later cracked the entire crew up. And his acting when the next couple shots, when Liam actually grabs his tongue, I think they ruined more than a couple takes because everyone broke out laughing afterwards because of Ahmed's pantomime.
It took us a very long day to shoot this scene. It was very arduous work, but I was very pleased with the way it turned out.
You're a Jedi Knight, aren't you?
What makes you think that?
The dinner scene was my favorite. None of us could stop laughing when Ahmed did his whole routine with the grapes. And once Qui-Gon cut his tongue, all of us just sat there for a moment and laughed. We couldn't stop. It was really fun.
No.
I think you have. Why else would you be there?
This scene, the obvious effect is Jar Jar, but there's quite a lot more that you don't see. There are a lot of shots where there's various splits going on. Places where head turns are changed a little bit, where eye blinks are taken out, where two actors that are together in a shot are from different takes.
The first and most important part. We might not move like the train.
He's jumping.
For every Jar Jar shot in the movie, we had Ahmed Best wearing a Jar Jar suit, which basically went up to his neck, and then he had a little Jar Jar hat on. We would shoot reference of Ahmed with Liam or any of the other actors to get that interaction. The original thought was that we could use some of those suit shots and just put on a digital head and ears. But that proved to be difficult for many reasons. One was that Jar Jar's shoulders and neck are quite different than Ahmed's. Ahmed's quite a muscular guy, and Jar Jar's quite slender through the shoulders, so we weren't able to do that. But the suit was still valuable because we could get great lighting reference off of it.
There are a couple of shots where Ahmed in the suit is actually what you see in the shot. Like that first shot in Watto's shop of Jar Jar walking through frame juggling. It's framed below his neck, so that's actually Ahmed in the suit. So I felt justified in asking for them to build the suit because we did end up using it in a number of shots.
Oh yeah, I think it was used in about 15 or so shots in the movie.
I'm sure Qui-Gon doesn't want to put your son in danger. We'll find some other way.
No. There is no other way. I may not like it, but he can help you. He was meant to help you.
This was very difficult to shoot too because it was so darn hot out there when we shot this stuff. It was like 135 degrees, and everybody in the crew and everybody was melting.
In Tunisia, we tried frying it egg on R2's head. It was a sunny side up. If we would have left it out there for about 5 more minutes, it would have been done. It was this close.
The interiors were shot in London, where it was extremely cold. So they walk off a location that was 135, 140 degrees onto a set that was probably about 35 degrees. And so everybody on the set was freezing.
That you did, huh? The boy's good. That's there, huh?
Well, I have a choir department. When George first described Watto, he was actually very specific. I remember he came in one day and he said that he had a new character, and his name was Watto, and he wanted to use an old Nemoidian head design. And he described Watto verbatim. He basically said Watto should look like this portrait. I want him on a really kind of a funky, fat body, put on really tiny wings, and they had duck feet. And at first, there was sort of the weird imagery that didn't quite make sense, but when we actually drew exactly what he described, it worked really well.
Sure. Either way, Deal.
The reason we believe in Watto is because of the weird juxtaposition of all the unusual traits. George is a genius of combining weird animal traits, and I think we believe it because just the fact that you wouldn't ever see a creature like this, and the fact that all these different features are imbued into this one character, you somehow accept that reality. It's kind of the overall image. The overall impression that we get of Watto is that he kind of works.
First off, it's an extraordinary story. It's the first story in the Star Wars cycle, and it's a great adventure story. And that's what I saw first when I read it and saw the photographs and the descriptions of these extraordinary planets and worlds that my character and various other characters explore. Second or third reading, it was like these races of creatures and individuals and human pups. They all depend on each other here. George is making a very, very strong point through entertainment that life needs each other. You know what I mean? It's like, a tree needs the ground it grows on, the ground then needs man to kind of look after it. And that point comes across,
Just kidding. Who was this from?
There's one of these close-ups of Liam coming up in a few shots. George changed the line of dialogue and we had to match in a close-up. And I think it's pretty seamless.
So this was shot in Tunisia.
This shot here, I think was shot in London.
I think if Liam knew that, he would probably not want to go to Tunisia again. If he could make it look that good in London.
The girl in the back row of these children in the grayish smock is Katie Lucas, George's daughter.
Let's go and play ball. Keep racing, Andy. You're gonna be bug squad. Hey, Georgia. Before those energy bites, if your hand gets caught in the beam, it's gonna go numb for hours.
It's a fun bit of animation here when Jar Jar gets zapped. I was initially worried how we were going to get this to work, but then was very happy once we got into it.
Once we got the character going, then between my ideas and the animators taking those ideas and making more of them, sometimes than they probably should have, it's really what created the humor of Jar Jar.
Puppeteers being painted out of these shots as well. So even though it's in the very background, there's someone manipulating them. You can imagine someone painting through all those little holes through the wires and making